Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with a completely bare face. All I've done is washed it. I haven't got anything else on at all because I'm going to be doing a foundation review, like an all-day wear test kind of thing. How it applies, what it looks like, the coverage, the finish. I'm going to be doing check-ins throughout the day just to see how it holds up. So my skin is oily. Pretty much everywhere, especially my T-zone. I get a lot of oil throughout that. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how this works out, see if it actually looks nice on my skin. I have no idea about what it's meant to do, what the claims are. I just picked it up because if you would have watched my last video, you've seen that I fake tan. So I ignore my hands, but compared to my arms, my face does not match. So I needed just a quick, cheapy foundation to pick up to see if it would at least kind of match me, because yesterday I had to put bronzer all over my face and even then I was still a bit too light. So I'm hoping that the foundation I've got is at least a little bit better of a match, but I don't know. I have not got a clue. The foundation that I've picked up is the Rimmel Lasting Matte Foundation. On the front of this it says full coverage and it's a mattifying foundation and it's a lightweight mousse texture. Is this going to throw me back to the Maybelline matte mousse or whatever it's called, like Dream Matte Mousse? Is this going to throw me back to that? Because I'm pretty sure every single girl and guy, whatever, every single person in the UK used this when they were like 13, 14. The back of this just says long lasting and lightweight. This ultra comfortable powder finish formula leaves the skin truly mattified, feeling soft and provides a perfect flawless base for your makeup. So I mean, that does kind of give me some hope because, as I said, I've got oily skin, so if it's meant to be a mattifying foundation and leaves like a powder finish, that seems like it will work well on my skin, with my skin, like if any oils come through. I feel like this might combat it pretty well. I got the shade 305 Buff, which is weird because my Revlon colour stay is also called Buff. So, I mean, that's not gonna work out, and obviously these two colours are different, like completely different. So it's interesting to see what other brands call their foundation names compared to like the other ones, because obviously that's 150 and that's 305, so there obviously is like a number difference. But if this is Buff and this is Buff, what's really Buff? Basically, I'm just going to be testing this out. I'll do check-ins throughout the day. Let's dive right in and see how this foundation works. So this is obviously my first like sitting down doing any sort of makeup video, so I'm sorry if like my mirror kind of gets in the way. I'm going to try and use it this way as much as possible, but I don't have a viewfinder. I don't have anything so I can see what is actually shooting at that point, so I can't see what you see right now until I'm editing. So I'm hoping that me looking this way doesn't really interfere. When using this, I'm going to be applying it on one side with a sponge and one side with a brush. The brush I'm just going to use, I have no idea where this came from. This came from like one of those Facebook ad things. It was like, the best foundation brush you'll ever try, and I was like, it's not though, but it's the only foundation brush I have. So I'm going to be using this on one side of my face, and then the sponge here, this is just one that I got from Primark. It came in a set of 2. It's very soft, it is quite bouncy, and yeah, I'm going to be using this one to go with it. Does anyone remember was it EDF Energy? They had the little keep-ons, like the little orange flame thingies. Does anyone remember that? Because that's what this reminds me of. So I think I'm going to go in with the brush first. I'm going to use the brush on this side of my face, I think. And I'm just going to take, oh, that is, she's thick. Damn, boy, you thick! Right, I don't know how much is going to be enough. I'll take like that much, so this much. Obviously it is a mousse finish, so I'm not surprised that it's very thick, but I'm wondering how far that much is going to go. Is that going to be far too much? Is that not going to be enough? Because it also claims to be a full coverage foundation, so I'm like, is that like enough for my full face? As well as that, if it's, that looks like a decent match. If it's meant to be like a mousse finish, surely it should look light and airy on your skin. But if it's also full coverage and it's this thick, how light is it gonna look? I have no idea how much to put on. So I'm gonna put on most of it just now and then see how far that goes. It looks like it's gonna be an okay shade for my neck. My neck is a bit darker than my chest anyway, but because I've got like a high neck top on, it's probably best to match it to my neck as much as possible, and plus my neck kind of matches my arms a little bit better as well. So I've used about that much. I've got this much left. It smells like florally. I don't really like that. So I'm just buffing this in first, and then I'll go back in with like stippling motions to really blend it in. If you have any foundation brushes that you really like that aren't like £20, let me know in the comments because I am looking for a new foundation brush. Okay, on the nose it's hard to like do a half and half thing, so I don't care if I go on the other side. I'm just gonna dip in a little bit more on my hands to get that so I can have some underneath my eyes, because I don't have a concealer either to match. I don't really see the point in buying a full new concealer because those last you for ages, so. I mean, colour-wise, looking at this, I mean, compared to my actual face, that's ridiculous. But looking at this compared to my neck, it does actually seem like it matches really well. So the fact that I just literally went into Tesco and I just picked this up, it was the first one I picked up, I did a quick colour swatch on my hand and I thought that would do. Like, considering that this took me no time at all to find, and I think this only cost £8. I don't think it's oxidizing, which is probably a good thing because it looks like it's already a good shade for my skin. Is it full coverage? I don't think it is. I think it's very high coverage, but I don't think it's full coverage because you can still see some redness of a spot there. You can still see like some spots coming through and like some old scars, but I mean, it's doing a good job, especially with this brush. It's actually okay for a quick find, and for £8, I'm not mad at it. Right, so I think I'm done with the brush side, let's go on with the sponge. Okay, so I've got the sponge, very squishy, very soft. I'm just gonna dab it into the back of my hand here and just get as much product as I can off of that. And if I need more, then I'll grab more later. I'm wondering if I'm gonna get more coverage with the sponge or with the brush. So I'm just bouncing this in. Already I'm liking the finish a bit better, but then it might just be because I've got less on my face on this side. It also looks a little less full coverage, but again, that might just be because I've got less on my face right now. So I think I will need to go in just a little bit more. Okay, so I've done this half with the sponge. I will need to go in with a little bit more, I think, because the coverage isn't quite matching up. But I do prefer the finish. I feel like with a sponge, because you're bouncing it into your skin, it does look a bit nicer. And this side also, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on camera, but this side looks very matte, whereas this side still has a bit of a glow to it. So I'm liking that as well. Like, I like the bit more of a glow. Although it is a matte foundation, it makes it look a bit healthier. So yeah, I'm gonna add just a little bit more onto my face, just a tiny bit on my cheek area, and maybe like along my chin, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've brought you in just a little bit closer, just so that you can see this a bit more. So far, I'm liking the finish of it. It is matte, but it has like a slight sheen to it, like a nice healthy kind of glow. I did actually go over on the brush side with the blender just to try and give it the same finish, because this side did look a bit more dewy and this side looked a lot more matte, which I mean, I don't mind, but if I'm going to have it matte, I'd rather have it a bit dewier. I also feel like the blender helped me get it more into my skin, so I do actually prefer the finish of this with the blender. It did give me a little less coverage. I couldn't seem to build it up as much here. I always have a problem with blending foundation in here though, like right there, it always looks a bit redder, and a lot of foundations do that for me. Overall, so far, I'm happy with the colour match. Like, it's not bad, it's certainly not perfect, and I do look orange, but I'm happy with the colour match, I'm happy with the finish, and I'm happy with how it's looking on my skin. Like, this is a very smoothing foundation, and it does say on the bottle that it is smoothing, and that I agree with. Is it full coverage? I would say it's high coverage. You probably could blend it to be full coverage, but you'll most likely get it to be looking quite cakey, and it will just look like it's settled on the skin at that point. Now that I've blended it in, and it's been a minute or so since like it's all been blended in, it's had a chance to set down, it does look a little less cakey around the nose, and it does look like it is sinking into my skin a bit more. I haven't blended that patch out at all. Over here, there seems to be a bit of unblended foundation which I can't seem to blend in, and it is picking up a bit on my pores and like scarring over here. Not really, it doesn't look dry, it just doesn't look great. My nose looks okay, and my nose I tend to struggle with quite a lot when it comes to foundations. It either rubs off too much or it just doesn't look very nice, doesn't look very smooth, but it's actually looking okay. So far, I'm not mad at this foundation. Considering the fact it was only £8, it's actually not bad at all. I'm going to add just the tiniest amount of concealer under my eyes. So I'm just going to use a bit of the Collection Lasting Perfection in Fair, because this is like, when I'm not tanned, this is normally my standard skin colour. But again, it does oxidize because collection products tend to do that quite a bit. So I just want to put a little bit under my eyes just to add a bit more brightness, because I mean, that's not that bad, is it? That looks okay. Doesn't look terrible. I'm just gonna set this down now and then I'll be right back with you just to show you how it looks when it's set. Okay, so the powder is on. I just used my Revolution translucent setting powder. It hasn't left that much of a white cast. Under my eyes it actually looks okay. Around my face it doesn't look like it's changed much in colour at all. But I am actually quite liking the finish. It hasn't creased or anything so far. In the nose, maybe a little bit cakey, maybe a little bit, but that might just be because I put on a lot of it around my nose, I don't know. And the colour match again is just looking okay. Maybe slightly too light, but then I'm going to put on bronzer anyway. So I'd rather it be like a little bit too light and then bronze up after that, as opposed to it looking a little bit too dark and then having to add on bronzer on top of that. I'm going to do my contour, bronzer and highlight and stuff now, because I always do that for my eyes. And I'll also show you how that applies, see if it leaves any gaps or anything like that, because thicker foundations can, like, I mean, they can sometimes rub off when you're applying products like that. So I'm just going to try and see how that works. For that, I'm just going to use my trusty Benefit bronzer and brush, oh my god, bronzer and blush palette, and my trusty MUA and wood contour brush. I'm trying not to overdo this so that I don't turn out really orange, because I mean, I know I'm orange compared to what I normally am like. I mean, just check out my ear compared to this, but I can't really put makeup on this because I've got 2 new-ish piercings there. But come on, I can't turn into a literal Oompa Loompa. I know they've got green hair, but my hair's blue, so I'm one step away from being Oompa Loompa. This bit doesn't want to... This is where I've got the bit of the patchy foundation. So this part here doesn't seem to want to blend out that well. It looks like a weird shade there, but that's just where the foundation didn't blend. But the actual bronzer seems to be applying quite well. Since I saw Jenna Marbles do this, she followed the Doja Cat video. Since I saw her put blush on her nose, that's just what I've been doing, like, for quite a while. I don't put as much on as what Doja Cat or what she did, but just a little bit. I think it looks quite nice, especially in the winter. I don't know, I feel like it makes you look a bit kinder. And I'm a bitch, and I have a resting bitch face, so I need to look a bit kinder. Okay, so I don't think that looks that bad. My face looks okay. Under my eyes where I put the concealer is definitely looking a bit lighter, but I don't think that looks bad. I think it actually looks okay. I think I can get away with that. Now that I'm putting products on and I'm blending over a bit, my pores on this side are showing quite a bit, which I'm not a fan of, and the pores on my nose are showing quite a bit. But I feel like if I use like a pore filling primer or like a smoothing primer and then this foundation as well as a powder, it could look pretty nice. I do have quite big pores anyway, so I'm not entirely surprised that that's happening. Do you think that I can finally get away with using this highlighter from Ofra? I might be able to get away with it. It might still be too... Should I try it? And if it just looks bad, I could just put some glazed donut on top. Because I mean, I've had this for years and I've never been able to use it on my face because it is just... It leaves like a dark line. But let's just try it in like small amounts. Let's see. Or does that leave just the tiniest bit of a dark? It does. It leaves a little bit of a dark line on my face still. I would have to be so tanned to be able to get away with using this highlighter. I could probably, with a really light hand, just about get away with this highlighter. Right, okay, I think it is too dark, so I am going to go over with the overglazed donut, but I can just about get away with that for once, just about. But unfortunately I'm just too pale still, which I'm like, what skin colour do you need to, what skin colour do I need to get to be able to use this? Right, overglazed donut. Okay, Okay, that looks a bit better from the front now. Right, so that is my face done with all my base products. But actually, you know what? I'm quite liking it. I think the products and stuff have gone on quite well over top. Again, if I just use like a pore filling primer, I probably wouldn't get as many pores coming through. But I do have fairly big pores. It's annoying. Oily skin and big pores. What did I do in my past life? But it does look decent actually, especially with the highlight, the contour and all that stuff on. My under eyes make a bit more sense now with how light they are. It does match my skin a bit more. Does it match my neck a bit more? I think so. Yeah, I think it actually looks quite nice. So for £8 it's decent so far. I'm just gonna go away, do my eyes, my brows and my lips, and I'll be back just to give my final thoughts just now. And yeah. See you in a bit. Okay guys, so I did a dramatic blue moment on my eyes, but I'm back. So after, that was about half an hour putting the rest of my makeup on, and the foundation hasn't really changed much. Like I would have thought it would have melted into my skin a bit more. It's still looking okay, it still looks good. It's a decent foundation, and honestly, if they do a shade in like my normal skin tone, I might buy it because it is quite nice. I can't really feel it on my face. Nothing's coming off when I touch my face, like it doesn't print or anything like that so far. And it is looking quite nice after powdering and everything. It does still look quite healthy. Obviously it does look like you've got makeup on, like it's not going to be one of those foundations where it has like a skin-like texture. It's just not going to be. But it is quite lightweight, obviously, because it was a moussey formula, but I quite like it. So it is currently 1:55, so let's say 2 p.m. Probably going to keep this on until I go to bed, so that will probably be about midnight, 1 o'clock-ish, because I'm off tomorrow. This is it so far, so 2 p.m. at the check-in time, more 1:30 really, because that's when I finished putting it on. Okay, yeah, let's go for 1:30, so 1:30 is the check-in time, because that's when I fully powdered it down and things like that. So 1:30 check-in time. I'll probably do about 4:30, I think I'll do it. I'm not actually doing anything today, I'm not going out, I am just sitting indoors. So I'm probably not going to like see as much oil as what I would do if I was to go out. But then to be honest, I don't tend to go out much anyway whenever I do wear this much foundation, unless I'm going to like an event. But I'm antisocial, so I don't go to events. But yeah, so this is it so far. I'll insert a little close up as well, just so you can kind of see what it's looking like really close up. Like, let's get uncomfortably close. Get in my personal space just for a few minutes. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. The colour match is decent. Hopefully it just wears throughout the day really nicely, and might be onto a winner. See you in a bit. Okay, so I'm recording on my phone, so again, I'm sorry for the quality. If it goes down, probably will. But this is my skin after about 4 hours, so it's just gone 4:30. It's about 20 to 5 now. So it is looking okay. You can see, like, especially around here and on my nose a little bit, it is starting to get oily. That's kind of standard for me by about 4 hours for like foundation stuff to start getting oily. Around my nose, like here, it is like caking up a little bit, and it is not rubbing off, but like right in the crease, it's like separating a little bit. It's not looking bad apart from the oiliness, but that is very normal for me. I don't really tend to powder my foundations at all whenever I bother wearing it, unless I am out somewhere. So I'm not going to bother powdering it right now because this is just what I would normally do. If you do tend to powder a lot whenever you wear foundation, like if you touch up after every couple of hours, this will probably last a little bit longer on you, but just because I don't normally do it, I'm going to treat it like I normally would for any other foundation and just see how it goes. But yeah, so far, I'm not hating it. So I might actually purchase this in my right shade because it was a cheap foundation and it applied quite nicely. It looks okay on the skin and it's lasting alright. So far it's okay. Yeah, I'm liking it. Say hello, Mr. Bean. Hello. Okay, I'll see you in a couple of hours. Bye. Okay guys, so it is now just past 9 o'clock. I've had this on for about 7.5 hours? 7.5 hours, yeah. I actually don't think that it looks that bad. I am definitely very oily right now, so excuse that. But this honestly is quite normal for me for oil levels and stuff after like close enough to 8 hours. It's not really accentuating my pores anymore. I mean, it still is, but not any more than what it was earlier on. It hasn't really broken down anywhere along my chin or around my nose. in between my forehead still looks really nice. And actually, to be fair, although my forehead is oily, it looks quite healthy and quite nice. The only place I notice that it has come off is around my nose, but I do have like a nervous habit to itch to the side of my nose. So that might even just be because of that. But yeah, I mean, I've wiped out my chin when I was eating dinner. Like I've eaten, I've drank, and so far it's looking not that bad actually. So I have got one more check-in to do. I'm gonna do that probably around midnight or just before I go to bed, just to see what it's like. That will be on my phone, so that will be a bit worse quality. But yeah, all in all, I'm actually quite liking it. It's slowly turning into one of my more favourite foundations. I don't think it's going to replace the Revlon Colour Stay, but I mean, if I get one that's in my shade, maybe, because it hasn't creased anywhere. I did notice, by the way, I didn't mention earlier, but when I was putting my eyeshadow on, under my eyes had creased, but because I blend my eyeshadow quite far down and really smoke it out, it kind of just goes over the creases and blends the creases out anyway, so that doesn't make much of a difference for me. But yeah, I'll insert a close-up video of my skin right now, about 8 hours in. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually quite liking it. I think it's decent, and for £8, and just for like a quick pickup to try and match my fake tan, I think it's actually really nice. And I will be looking for this in my actual shade, which is Pale AF. So yeah, I'll see you in the next couple of hours for my final check-in of the day. Okay, so I'm just going to be filming my outro right now, so this is just after like the 9 PM clock check-in, because I have already cracked open a bottle of wine, so who knows what state I'm going to be after a bottle of wine and 4 strong by dark fruits in the next couple of hours. So this is my like outro just now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think about the foundation? Did it look okay? And I want to know what your go-to eyeshadow look is. Like, what colours? Is it a cut crease? Is it a smoky eye? Or is it just a simple thing? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.